I would like you to imagine yourself sitting on your bed or your couch on a school night. As you're flicking through all the movies on your TV, you decide to watch a classic horror movie. You feel that you will have enough time to finish it and go to bed at a decent time. During the movie, your heart rate starts to increase and you get this anxious feeling in your gut. Because after all, it's terrifying. When you finally finish and go to bed, you realize you're having a hard time going to sleep because your mind is racing and you're still wide awake because of the brightness of the TV. According to the Vision Council, which is a company whose purpose is to better the lives and vision of others, 27 to 35% of Americans experience headaches, neck pain, blurred vision, loss of sleep, all due to blue light. Blue light, for example, negatively affects our mood and sleep schedules. So, I'm going to be talking to you about why you should avoid blue light. I'm not saying avoid blue light entirely because I know we are surrounded by it every day, just to reduce the amount of screen time you are on. Here's a preview of what I'm going to be talking to you about. Some common misconceptions about blue light, a graph that explains the wavelength of blue light, and the negative consequences such as blurred vision. Starting off, a common misconception is about blue light in the daytime. So people think that all blue light is harmful, which is not true. According to Harvard studies, blue light is beneficial during the daytime because it boosts our attention and mood. Also, people think that lowering the brightness on their phone will reduce the damage of blue light, which is also not true. Because blue light, even with the brightness lowered, still reaches our eyes. It may reduce symptoms, but it does not reduce symptoms entirely. Also, people get confused on the difference between natural and electronic blue light. Filter Optics explains how natural blue light comes from the sun, and it is healthy because it regulates our sleep schedule. It is a healthy, natural blue light. However, electronic blue light, which comes from fluorescent light, LED TVs, computers, smartphones, and tablets, when we are exposed to them during the nighttime, it messes with our circadian rhythm and sleep schedules. Now moving on to the graph. This graph explains the relationship between intensity and wavelength. There's white LEDs, which is represented by the blue line, fluorescent, which is represented by the green line, and incandescent, which is represented by the red line. But today we're going to be focusing on white LEDs. White LEDs are often found in devices such as TVs, phones, computers. They contain a large and significant amount of blue light. According to the National Institute of Health, light between 415 nanometers and 455 nanometers affects our eyes the most. And if we look back to the graph, white LEDs is the most intense in between 420 nanometers and 500 nanometers. And we know that white LEDs gives off blue light. So in that range, we can see that blue light is the most damaging to our eyes. Now moving on to some consequences. Starting with damage to the retina. As you can see in this picture, UV light, it only affects the surface of our eyes, whereas blue light passes through our eyes all the way to the back of our retina. This can cause macular degeneration disease. This creates a loss of central vision because of the release of toxic molecules into photoreceptor cells. Also, blue light interrupts circadian rhythm, which is our sleep schedule. So the sun and the environment that we are surrounded by tells us when we should be awake and when we should be asleep. According to sleepfoundation.org, blue light makes us more alert, and that can cause circadian rhythm disorders, which happens when we are not aligned with our environment. Also, blue light suppresses the release of melatonin. This is a hormone that makes us drowsy, so when we are getting less melatonin, we are less sleepy and less likely to go to bed. Also, Blue light affects our mental health. It creates stress, anxiety, irritability, mood swings, and depression. This also relates to the loss of sleep that we are getting from the blue light of our screens. In conclusion, I talked to you about the misconceptions, for example, that blue light is not always harmful, it's beneficial during the daytime. Also, the graph showed that the wavelength of blue light affects our eyes the most, and also consequences of blue light are depression, loss of sleep, and things like that. I thank you for listening. Some tips to reduce the amount of screen time and reduce the damage of blue light is to read 30 minutes before bed. However, right now, I encourage you to take a 20-second break from your phone or computer. Thank you for listening.